So, as we all know, Seth Rollins cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase at SummerSlam, which has just gone down. What is now next? What will happen next? Obviously, as we know, Seth Rollins came out, faked his knee injury, and he's back. He cashed in, whacked, just brutally abused CM Punk with his Money in the Bank briefcase. God knows how many times he smashed him round the back of the head with it. But yeah, there we go. That's what won Seth Rollins the World Heavyweight title tonight. What are we going to see next happen, though, for Seth Rollins as the champion? He's going to hold it for a long time. He's got Bronson Reed. He's got Braun Breaker by his side. That's a big thing. That's a big thing. And there are going to be many challenges coming at Seth Rollins now from after SummerSlam. But that was only night one of SummerSlam as well. But so that makes things interesting. I'm not going to talk about night two on this video because, I don't think anything's going to happen with Seth Rollins on night two. We're just going to talk about, from what happens from this episode of night one of SummerSlam onwards for Seth Rollins and his title reign. I mean, look, he's always said he wanted to stop CM Punk from winning the title. He didn't stop CM Punk from winning the title. CM Punk won the title tonight. He won the title. But Seth Rollins cashed in on him and ruined his moment. And that might feel even better for Seth Rollins at the end of the day. That might even feel better for Seth Rollins. Ruining the moment of CM Punk as champion. Look, we've seen so much of the feud between Seth Rollins and CM Punk over this last year or so, this last year and a half or so. We've seen so much with Seth Rollins and CM Punk. A bit too much, possibly, with these two. Is that going to be next? I can't see how it's not. I can't see how Seth Rollins and CM Punk is not next. And CM Punk's going to get his moment eventually. I don't know. I feel like what needs to happen is Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed put a brutal beating on CM Punk on Raw and put him out for quite a few months. That's what I think has got to happen. Because I don't think it's a good idea to go right into this right now. Is it likely that they do? Yes. But Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, they've got to do something about this. We can't go straight into this again. We can't. Because, CM Punk can't really afford to take another loss. He lost not too long ago, of course, as we know. And to John Cena. He lost to John Cena not too long ago at Clash of Champions. Then he got pinned by Seth Rollins tonight at Money in the Bank, even though he beat Gunther though. So, credibility's there. Went through a tough half-an-hour match. So it's like, and then got smashed around the back of the head with the briefcase, God knows how many times, and lost it. I mean, hopefully that's injured him. Hopefully CM Punk takes time out. I don't want to see him on Raw on Monday. I don't want to see that. For me, in my opinion, I want to see something going on with Seth Rollins and Gunther possibly. Because right now, I just feel like Gunther can take unlimited losses. Like, it doesn't really matter. He's always going to have his aura. He's always going to have his credibility. He can take a loss to Seth Rollins and then move on to something else. That's what I think could happen. In Europe as well, Gunther will have fans in Europe. Do Seth Rollins and Gunther at Clash in Paris. That's what should happen. Seth Rollins, Gunther, Clash in Paris. CM Punk injured. Leave them out of the equation for now. And get Seth Rollins and Gunther going at it. You can even do a rematch for those two as well. You can. They can go at it again. And again and again and again. For a bit. Okay, so if we do that, then I feel like you've got to get somewhere. Roman Reigns has probably got to come back into the title picture at some point. Should he come back into it yet? No, he shouldn't. He shouldn't. But even if he does, he can take a loss to Seth. again, it doesn't really matter loads if Roman gets pins or loses right now. It doesn't. It doesn't matter at all. But that's going to be sometime down the line. That could be late this year. That could possibly be at the Royal Rumble next year. I feel like for the next few months, get Seth occupied with a Gunther feud. Because, again, a powerhouse. Gunther can turn babyface. He's the kind of guy who can beat the living hell out of Braun Breaker and have a match with him here on Raw here and there. Same as Bronson Reed. He's someone who can beat the living hell out of Bronson Reed, but can take a good bit of damage out of him, but can have a good match with him on Raw here and there in the build up to going at it with Seth Rollins. So they can be occupied for a bit. That keeps them occupied for the next month or two at least. So that's all good. Roman needs to get back into the title picture eventually. Look, and then you kind of think of it depends what happens with Cody Rhodes and John Cena, but could Randy Orton try and make a move onto Raw and get an impact on this? I don't know. Drew McIntyre, again, that's possible. Drew McIntyre could try and get involved in this. He doesn't like Seth. He doesn't like Punk. There's history there. But again, Drew McIntyre deserves a title shot. But again, he'd be guaranteed a loss if he goes up against Seth at this point, though. That's the thing. But again, you've got guys like AJ Styles who could go at it with Seth. I mean, look, if he wins the IC title, then that makes things interesting. No, I don't know. But again, he's the kind of guy who can get a title shot at some point. He hasn't got long left in the WWE right now, I don't think. AJ Styles and Seth Rollins get that done. They're guaranteed to have a great match, and it doesn't matter if AJ Styles loses the match. But right now, I feel like there are so many questions to be answered, and there's not a real proper clear direction on what's next. I honestly think CM Punk could be out. That's not even just wishful hoping. He could be out for a bit. I don't know. I don't want to go straight into that feud, though. But again, that might be the best logical thinking. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching.